Hello everybody, this is Chibi, and this is going to be an anime review on Log Horizon episode 16. Okay, before I get into the anime review of this episode, there's a couple things I actually really need to cover that will kind of link in with this episode that was about last episode. Okay, for one, I completely forgot to mention about Rudy and him not being able to be on someone's friends list. So, pretty much this episode is going to have a little bit about him too, so let's discuss on him first. Now, since last episode, he could not be added on someone's friends list, okay? Now, this comes into question right here, and I have different theories to actually say why you cannot add into someone's friends list. For one, he could either be people of the land. For instance, people of the land cannot be added to friends list, so that means he was part of the game to begin with. Or a new theory that popped up in this episode that actually was really, it managed to concrete my theory some more. For instance, the Knights of Izumu. We find out that the Knights of Izumu are actually really stronger than regular adventurers, and they completely are just powerful. And since Rudy can't add people to his friends list, okay? And let's say he is a person of the land or people of the land, and pretty much can't add people on his friends list. Now, what better way to actually concrete this information if he was not someone of Knights of Izumu that was probably in training, like a trainee trying to build up to that status? And that is why some people most likely will become Knights of Izumu, because they can use powers. And so this also goes to show you in the death scene in the opening, when you see him dying, it looks like he's actually about to die, and why so many people are actually fearful that he doesn't need to go to battle is because he's a person of the land, and people in the land do not come back to life. So that really right there, if it is true, and if he does die, he won't come back, and I'm gonna be like, no, not Rudy! Just, I like Rudy's character. He's a good character. He's actually had a lot of growth these past couple episodes, and I enjoy the direction he is going. And the building in this episode, the tension building, holy crap. I felt like the knot and freaking rope around my neck was just getting tightened because of the tension. I mean, the entire episode was mainly build-up. Yes, I understand that, but holy crap, the way they handled that build-up and the way they put that underlying dark tone in this entire episode was handled really freaking well. We find out a couple things. Shiroe finally basically announces to every adventurer in the world of Elder Tale Online that if you die, there is a consequence. And we kind of find out a little bit of character development on Krusty, that he's actually died twice. Now, that right there was like, what? Because Krusty have already died twice, and he's like the top of the guilds, and he's the guild leader to have died twice. And he confirms that you do lose memories was utterly shocking, and I just cannot believe that. We find out that the memories he lost was like a name of his cat from the real world, which in our sense doesn't feel that important, but still, he's actually losing memories, important memories, because if he cared for that cat, which he probably did to have a cat, that would mean that he's losing things that really care to him. And he says he's lost some other things that he really can't remember. So, wow, that is really freaking shocking. I just cannot believe Krusty has already died. So, I wonder how much other memories people have died, especially major dark guilds that have gotten killed like maybe 5 or 6 times, or other people that are going out questing and dying. So, there is major consequences, and I just cannot wait to see the path they choose with that. And now we got adventurers that are probably going to be more scared to go out, and probably they're going to be more risk-taking. But I do agree with what Krusty said. To live without, like, a death consequence makes you like you're a living death. But having a death consequence to, like, living, it really adds you to live harder or whatever and feel better. And I agree with that statement. I know I just butchered his entire statement, but still, I will say I like his entire, I guess, saying of that, because you actually have something to live for, and you feel like there's a consequence. You have something to look forward to, something that makes you feel like you're progressing. And so, this adds an entirely different aspect to the series that will make it grow in a darker tone, because if you die too much, or if, like my other theories from a couple episodes ago, if you lose more memories the higher level you are, then that would mean you would have a higher loss rate of whatever major important memories you had in your life. So, I cannot wait to see the route they go with that. Now, let's talk about something else, the Goblin armies. Now, I will say the Battle of Choushi. That is what I'm going to call it. But sadly enough, they managed to kind of destroy that in the end of this episode. We get to see Minori just sit her staff down on that awesome freaking cliff. And actually, our little newbie is growing up. She's actually taking charge, and she's becoming more Shiroe-like and being able to have a nice, good leadership position. And saying that, no, we're not going to wait till they get to town. We're not going to protect towns. We are going to attack them first. I was like, Hell yeah, let's do this. That's exactly what I thought, and I'm so glad the way her character has been directed towards. And she's basically a female Shiroe and just a little chibi version of him. I like it so much. Now, what was the major, I guess, morals of this episode? The major tension and moral building in this episode was that the people of the land and the adventurers are still not cooperative and they're not helping each other. Adventurers are on one side now that they know that there's death as a consequence. They don't want to risk themselves for people of the land that pretty much are not offering them any in return. I mean, in our sense, we would probably go save them because it's morally right. But in their sense, though, they're losing important memories from the actual real world, and they know this is a game, even though it's not a game now. It's still the point of the matter comes into, why do we want to save you when you haven't even asked us for help, and you're not even offering us help in return? And so that is the major tension between these two factions, and the people of land are deciding to march their armies, call a council meeting between all their elders and kings and stuff to be able to go fight this goblin army. And you gotta love the way events unfold in this episode, especially like actual major seasonal quest events that would happen in a game like an MMORPG are taken into effect in this. And it basically talks about a goblin king being crowned if you don't kill him in like a week. You know, entire armies will merge together and you'll see different factions of goblins come under one rule. And I like the way they implemented event quest into this series. And it's definitely an intriguing way that twists the plot a little bit. And I wonder how they're going to be able to handle such a massive army. And since adventurers will take over 1,500 adventurers, they said that could easily wipe out the entire army. It still goes to the question is, how many adventurers can they really get behind their back to help people of the land, or just, you know, to do something for nothing? And not a lot of people, most likely in MMORPGs, are willing to do something like that, even still when you have a risk such as big as losing your memories. So I like the tension, did a good job in this episode, I cannot wait for next episode. A lot of foreshadowing to death and freaking, oh man, Rudy dying. I hope I don't get to see that. Hopefully the opening's just trolling us. Everybody, tell me what you think about this episode of Log Horizon. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What you think about all the theories I brought up? Hopefully you all have a wonderful day or not wherever you live. Please stay safe. Chibi out.